my name is Michelle Sotolongo, and I am an academic advisor for University College at Texas State University in San Marcos. I'm also currently working on a master's degree in international studies, and my thesis for my master's is on undocumented students. And I first got interested in this topic when I was working as an administrative assistant at Texas State in our office, and I've encountered several students who had a few questions that didn't really have answers as far as undocumented student status and what resources they had. So slowly, to help some specific students, I started researching on my own here and there, and I cobbled together a little resource packet for them, and it snowballed into workshops and presentations and conferences, and now this thesis. So I basically intend to spread the word about what kind of resources are available for undocumented students. More so at Texas State, just because this is, my home, so I want to help those students, of course, but also provide enough information that it can still help students across the state of Texas, and hopefully also across the country. So at national conferences, I've showed templates of information that can still be adapted to each individual campus, because each campus is going to have its own roadblocks, its own policies that they might have to follow, and that way they can each adapt it to their own needs. So what I cover is mostly the background of undocumented students, where they're coming from, what they're dealing with, a lot of emotional issues, identity crisis, being told that all of a sudden they're not something that they thought they had been for their entire lives, and being denied privileges and access to everything else that they thought they had entitlement to, and they don't, just because of something that maybe their parents did if they came over at a young age. So what I try to provide is information for people who work in higher education to help these students, because we are their first contact. And in order for them to be successful students, I think that it is part of my job to help them in whatever way that I can, maybe not necessarily academically, but these things do influence their academics, and therefore I'm going to try to help them as much as possible. So reflecting on their needs, I have come up with just some suggestions and recommendations that particular departments on campus need to factor into their implementation of orientation or recruitment. So I target the admissions office, financial aid specifically, because I think those are the two most important offices that deal with this demographic. So admissions, it's just very important to let students know that even if you have undocumented legal status, you are still eligible for college. A lot of people think that you are immediately denied that opportunity, but at least in the state of Texas, you're not. There has been some legislation that allows undocumented students to participate in in-state tuition, as well as having Texas residency as long as they graduate from a Texas high school, and that helps a lot of students. So as long as we're aware of that, and the admissions office can do that during recruitment, I know they do a lot of that across the state of Texas. It's important to target those students while they're still young, still in high school, maybe even as young as junior high school, just so that we can get them early and let them know that there is hope for what they want to achieve. So that's the first line, I think, admissions. And then I also provide information about financial aid. They're not eligible for federal financial aid, but they can use resources from the Texas Public Education Grant or the Texas grant. They can apply through the TAFSA, which is similar to the FAFSA for federal aid, but it's specific Texas aid. So there's a lot of options, and private scholarships as well. There's the important fact to stress that there is no legal issue with somebody who wants to give an undocumented student money for a private scholarship or a grant or anything like that. They're not liable. They will not feel any repercussions from that action. So that also could put some people at ease who want to help these students and maybe were a little concerned about doing so for their own safety, which is understandable. And the other things that I throw into the resource packet, information about contacts on campus, people who are, I want to consider safe to talk to. They're very open-minded. They can be confidential with their information, which is extremely important. and also some legal resources from across the state of Texas, and all of those contacts put together. Just in general, we unfortunately do not offer any immigration legal services at Texas State, but we can definitely refer them. And so this packet just combines all of that, and I've done one in English and one in Spanish, and hopefully I would love to get the Department of Modern Languages involved, and perhaps start translating some of these things into some other languages that might be useful for more students.